Yes, sir. Yes, sir. This nigga. This nigga Canelo might bust a move. Yeah. Key Wine, what up? What up? Let's get it. Let's talk, fam. Canelo might have to garner some respect. Oh shit, we in the building, baby. I got a special guest in here for me with me for this live show, man. Straight out of my hometown, man. We go all the way back. He's a huge boxing enthusiast. My guy, Mike Town. Mike, what up, what up, what up? Welcome to the show, my guy. What's good, boss?
Not much, man. Just relaxing, ready for to get this action this weekend, see what's popping.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's a big weekend, man. Canelo versus Charlo. First, I gotta ask you, man, who do you got?
Part of me want to root for Charlo, but I don't know, man. I wanna go for Charlo. He out here in Houston. That's where I'm living at right now.
Yo.
But
So
part of me want to go for him, but I just think Canelo might be too much for him. That's a big jump in weight.
Yeah. That's two weight classes, man. That's two weight classes, man. And that power's different up there. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But I do believe Charlo has the skill set to weather the storm, right? We in agreement when I say you believe Charlo got the skill set to get it done.
Yeah, I do. I think if he boxed instead of trying to go head to head, he might got a good shot.
Okay, so what you mean? Keep the jab out there, stay on his bike.
Yeah, keep stick and move. Stick and move, cause Canelo kind of falling off a little bit. His last couple of fights, he ain't really looked amazing.
Okay, so you do feel like, from the eye test that Canelo is on the decline.
Yeah.
Okay, so, from your personal experience, from what you've seen from Canelo Alvarez, you don't believe that that's the same Canelo.
Definitely not the same Canelo from a few years ago.
Can you describe in those fights, in this previous fight, let's just say the John Ryder fight, what did you see that made you say, hey, this dude's slowing down?
First off, that fight shouldn't even have been that hard because John Ryder is like a tomato can. That dude is like who is he?
Yeah.
He's a nobody.
Right.
He seen what Canelo looked like when he fought Bivol. He ain't know what to do. That fight he jumped weight classes. That fight right there might have took a lot out of him too.
Yeah. Absolutely. And like I like to mention too, when people try to give him the credit for fighting the John Ryder, and I think it's just mostly the hardcore Canelo fans who want to give him credit for everything that he does. But when you look at a John Ryder who had already lost to two opponents that Canelo had already knocked out, and a Rocky Fielding and a Caleb Smith, right?
Two other trash dudes.
Right. So, but I do agree in that John Ryder fight. He had that fight at home in Mexico, in Guadalajara, where he's from. I believe that his hometown. And
he was able to eat the tainted meat out there.
Absolutely, right? And they picked that hometown specific. They picked John Ryder to go back to Mexico specifically for a reason, and that was to get the knockout in front of his hometown fans. You know what I mean?
Right.
And he wasn't able to do that, man. So I do agree with you when you say you feel like he's in decline. It's 33 years old. The kid's been Canelo's been pro since he was like 15 years old. He's 60 fights deep. A lot of wear and tear over the years, so I get it. Hold up real quick, Mikey. I'm going to say what's up to the chat. Shout out my guy Keywan in the building. Punch Drunk, Red Hawk. What up, fellas? So with this Charlo fight, though, did you see enough in Canelo's decline to make this a 50-50 fight versus Charlo?
I don't really see it as a 50-50. Maybe like a 60-40. I know that ain't much of a difference, but I just gotta see how Charlo power translates to 168.
Okay.
I just need to see that. The first few rounds, if he able to keep Canelo off of him with his jab, then he might got a better shot.
So do it concern you at all that Charlo says that, 68 is really close to his walk around weight, right? And
That don't concern me.
that don't concern you at all?
Because all these fighters, they cut weight. They probably walk, with the exception of Floyd, who probably only walk around at his fighting weight. Everybody else blow up between fights.
Right. And see, that's the difference, though. That's what I wanted to point out with Jermell Charlo, is that this will be his first time really fighting around his walk around weight. And from what I've heard from some of the experts and, of course, some of the fighters, sometimes that might not work in your benefit. Do you believe that'll work in his benefit?
It could. It might make him slower. It might make him slower than what he normally is.
Yeah.
That extra weight. That's that water weight.
Yeah. Yeah. Word. Yeah, that walk around weight, a lot of the times that weight, that do be that water weight. And sometimes it'll make you sluggish because, like he was saying in the interview, if he's training too hard, then he's losing weight, right? So it's going to be hard to kind of keep that mass on that muscle or that extra weight, because you don't necessarily want the muscle that slows you down, but to keep that weight on you and train as hard as you feel like you can, it's a fine line there, right? So it could present some problems for him, but you believe he's good, whether he cutting weight or not.
I think he'll be all right as the weight part.
Okay, gotcha.
Can he take that power from 168 is the question.
And I'm glad you say that. That's a great segue. I think that's the biggest question. And I got to ask you, do you believe he can take the power from Canelo Alvarez for the better part of 12 rounds or all 12 rounds?
I don't know. That's the $1 million question right there. I remember when he fought Tony Harrison. The first fight, Tony Harrison was sticking him.
Right.
He was looking lost. He looked like he couldn't handle it. So this that remains to be seen.
Now, but Tony Harrison is a completely different style. That was more of a technician performance from Tony Harrison. And we talking about Tony Harrison, the only man that beat Jermell Charlo, if you guys are following along. That was more of a technician performance. It wasn't what we'll see from Canelo Alvarez, where Tony Harrison was just kind of loading up on bombs like you expecting from Canelo Alvarez, right? He was more able to outbox Jermell Charlo to get that decision. Now, I don't think most people are predicting for Canelo Alvarez to come into this fight and outbox Jermell Charlo. We think he's going to probably do the typical Canelo Alvarez things now later in his career, where he kind of follows the guys around the ring and just unload those bombs and give you some good head movement. Now, I think the question is, if with the repetitive big shots, whether it be to the arms, the shoulders, the hips, and all of that, can Jermell Charlo take that? Because if he hits you in them arms too many times, or he hitting you with them bombs and them elbows, that wear all that stuff down, you're going to be less likely to pull your guard up. You're going to be hurting, right?
Right.
Yeah. So I think that could potentially cause a lot of problems for Jermell Charlo in this fight. That's what I believe.
I wouldn't be surprised. If Jermell come out there strong trying to get a knockout. I wouldn't be surprised.
Do you believe Jermell Charlo has that kind of power, or can pull that power from 154 to 68 to knock out somebody who I've never even seen get buzzed?
You never seen Canelo get buzzed? He got buzzed against Floyd, real tough.
Oh nah. When I say buzz, I mean like hurt. Like he was obviously hurt.
Yeah, he was hurt against Floyd. Floyd just ain't pushed the issue. What round was that? Was it 11? I can't think of what round it was. But
hey, look, you gonna make me go back and watch that fight again tonight, bro? Because
I watched it a lot. It was beautiful.
Yeah, it was a beautiful performance, masterful. 10 years ago, to be exact, right? 2013. Matter of fact, I just shared a picture of the ticket stub that I bought to the movie theater to see that fight, man. That's when they actually had that joint in the movie theater. But I can't remember if I've never seen Canelo hurt. Now, when you say he hurt Canelo, he buzzed Canelo, that mean he hit Canelo and you seen his leg buckle or something?
Yeah, he hit Canelo. Canelo stopped Canelo straight in the tracks, and everybody thought that Canelo was about to get knocked out. Floyd just kept hitting him with a 1-2. He didn't really go in deep.
Okay, so he kind of just stopped him in his tracks, but he
stopped him in,
he didn't show no other signs of being real hurt. Like the legs ain't buckled, or he ain't stumbled back. Okay, yeah. So that's the difference now. I think I think right then he hit him with something that got his attention, but not necessarily hurt him. Because when I say hurt, you know when a fighter's hurt, man. You know, because when a fighter hurt, you smell the blood in the water and you try and finish him. And I don't think Canelo was at that point for Floyd to try and actually finish him. But I think it was an accumulation of punishment that really showed up in that fight versus Canelo Alvarez. Hold on real quick, Mike. Let me see what the chat got going on. Shout out my guy Sean New Church back in the building. My guy Red Hawk in the building. What up? He said, I hope it's a good one, but I'm leaning toward Canelo. Not saying Charlo can't pull it off. It's going to be a tall task. Facts, man. Keywan telling you to get off my guy Zab.
My bad, Keywan. Zab was doing the stinking leg before the song ever came out.
He damn sure was. Real quick, though, the topic of this actual video with Canelo and Floyd, and I got something I wanted to share real quick, and I forgot to load it up. Give me a second, y'all, because I really wanted y'all to see this joint. I think it's important because Canelo is actually potentially on the brink of doing something.
This is probably gonna surprise you guys. It's like, so I was,
and I wanted to get this Leonard Ellaby sound bite for you.
And this is probably gonna surprise you guys. It's like, so I was kind of doing some homework, and it was like,
let me run that back. Check out Leonard Ellaby real quick. Old nostrils.
And this is probably gonna surprise you guys. It's like, so I was kind of doing some homework, and it was like, so Floyd has defeated 23 world champions, current or former.
And I think it might be 24. I might be mistaken. Leonard Ellaby probably know better than I do, but 23 world champions that Floyd has, that current or former that Floyd has defeated.
Canelo's at 18. So I think in the back of his mind, he might not have said this, that might be something, short term, when I say I don't know how he could, but he's got his hands full Saturday night. But I mean, that's something that it's not impossible that he can attain.
Let it up.
You know what I mean? So imagine that if he sets his goal, if he's successful Saturday night, and that's if he's successful, he would be at 19. You know what I mean? And so just imagine that's and obviously, those two fought and they did what they did. He, it's no secret that Floyd's the best. But again, I think that milestone is something that, that a feather in his cap, that's something that he would want to go down in history has defeated more world champions than anybody in the history of boxing.
Yeah.
That's big, man. That's real big. Let me turn my mic volume up too. I know they probably can't barely hear me. That's real big. Like Leonard Ellaby said, Canelo Alvarez at 18, former or current world champions. Right? Shout out my girl Letitia McCulley in the chat. Good to see you, sis. That could be in the back of Canelo's mind right now, right? Yeah, right? And then now how much credit do you give Canelo Alvarez if he goes for 24? Right? Where do you place him on the list? Does he somehow surpass Floyd Mayweather on that list?
Never.
No?
Never. You can't surpass somebody that beat you.
Right. I like that answer.
You can't surpass somebody that beat you and really dominated you.
Yeah, and it won't no regular whooping.
Right, it wasn't even close. So
yeah. I wanted to bring that up though because a lot of people give Canelo, especially who's not a part of the Latino community, the African American community, whatever other communities, there's a lot of knocks on Canelo, and I got my knocks on Canelo too, but I always said it's outside of the ring, not in, because inside of the ring, I always thought he was a warrior. Now, some people might not have appreciated his style over the years, but I always thought Canelo was a dog, and I do believe that this is a tremendous feat if he could get to that point. Now, the question for me is, to be at 18, he would need how many? 5, so 6 more world champions or former world champions. He's already 33 years old. Maybe he's got another 4 to 5 years to fight. Do you believe he could do that in that span of time?
yeah, I think he could.
Okay.
I think he could. Now, depends on who the champions are also.
Right. Now that's what I was going.
We know he don't want that devil smoke no more. We know that.
Or at least not at 68.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I don't think he want. He's been saying he don't want to fight Crawford, but the money call. Who knows?
yeah, and also if he wants to take a real run at breaking that record. Right, because he's going to have to continuously fight current and former world champions. And when you really look at the landscape, who's out there for Canelo to continue to fight and make these fights to even surpass it? Like, who would you like to see Canelo fight moving forward?
Honestly, I want it because I think Canelo with the PBC now or Showtime now.
Yeah, he's got a three fight deal with PBC.
Okay, yeah. So he needs that Benavidez smoke ASAP. If he beat Charlo, he needs that Benavidez smoke.
I love that fight.
Or even Moriel.
Or Morel, David Morel Jr. Absolutely, the WBA interim champ. Yeah.
So he got a few fights. He can even fight Boo Boo. Cause all of them over there.
Yeah.
He got a few more. He got a few little fights over there.
Yeah, he got some options. Out of all of those guys, who would you like to see him fight the most?
Benavidez been calling him out for so long, calling him he ain't no real Mexican and all that type of stuff. Yeah, Benavidez want that.
Man, I'm glad you said that, man, because now my audience who's watching us right now, I don't talk to Mike often, and when we do talk, we definitely talk boxing. And we on the same wavelength though. You know what I'm saying? And I'm glad that, and I don't know if you knew this, Mike, but the WBC just said again that they gonna more than likely make Benavidez, which he's already the mandatory because he is the WBC interim champion. But it looks like they're gonna order that fight after the Jermell Charlo fight for David Benavidez. So he might get some assistance in finally getting that Canelo Alvarez fight next, man. So that was really good news for David Benavidez because he's been chasing him along with everybody else forever now.
Yeah, but you know when they order them fights, they don't really mean nothing. We seen what happened with Shakur and Frank Martin. Just because they order it don't mean nothing. These guys really don't even care about the belts like that.
Yeah.
They just want the money.
But I think it's different though. Go ahead.
No, I'm about to say he been trying to play off of Benavidez as if he ain't worthy to fight him for so long. So that's what I'm saying. I don't know if he really, because at one time didn't Canelo say he didn't want to fight no other Mexican?
Yeah. He let that come off. He let that roll off his lips. Yeah, he did. He definitely did. But as far as them ordering the fight, they will script you. But the thing is, they pick and choose. Like right now, Jermell Charlo, as soon as he steps in the ring, and I don't know if you knew this, but as soon as he steps in the ring versus Canelo Alvarez, the WBO is going to strip him, right? Because
I heard that.
Yeah. They only allow him to be undisputed for the sake of this fight. So that's a key marketing strategy for this fight because it's undisputed versus undisputed. But it's right. The moment he steps in the ring, he no longer is the WBO champ. And I think, Tim Tszyu, I don't know if they're going to give it to Tim Tszyu or he might have to fight for it. I don't know. I think he might have to scrap for it. I'm not sure. But with Shakur Stevenson and Frank Martin, neither one of them are 35 champions. So they can order that fight all day, and those guys, there's no repercussions if the fight doesn't happen because nobody can get script, right? And with Canelo, you know how the WBC, they love them some Canelo Alvarez. Would they be willing, right, to script him if they order this fight versus a David Benavidez? And I think it's just been so long that he could be in a corner. He could be trapped in a corner.
But if anything, they probably make him like a super champion, like they did for Lomachenko.
Yeah, Lomachenko and Teofimo. Well, I think with the WBC it's called the franchise champion, and I'm not sure if he might already be the franchise champion, bro. I'm not sure, man. I the way that whole franchise shit set up with the WBC, I don't know if they didn't got rid of it so far because Devin Haney made a big stink of it. He never asked to be elevated to franchise. I believe Canelo was, but that could have been at 54. I'm not sure or 60. I'm not sure if 68. But all that shit is stupid. But according to President Mauricio Suleiman, WBC president, they are definitely going to be ordering that fight after this fight. So that's going to be interesting. Hold up, Mike. I'm going to go ahead and get to this chat real quick. Shout out Red Hawk, Sean Newchurch in the building. My guy, Rebel Life Boxing in the building, man. He say salute my guy. Smash the like button. I appreciate that. Martin King in the building. What up, boy? All right, but yeah, man, so that's real interesting for me, man. For Canelo Alvarez to kind of have his eye on the prize, looking to surpass Floyd Mayweather in some form or another as far as beating more world champions at the end of his career, but also doing something else that Floyd Mayweather never did, which was become undisputed, right? Floyd Mayweather never became undisputed. And I think that's why I was making these points, because, you're going to have that Latino fan base who worships the ground Canelo walk on. They're going to point these things out and be like, well, Canelo Alvarez beat more world champions, former or current, and he was undisputed. Two things that he would have above Floyd Mayweather. But the fact remains that he lost to Floyd Mayweather in a punishing fashion. So I don't know if those scales could ever be balanced.
Nah, they can't be balanced, and he also got other losses. Floyd has no losses, so it's not the same.
Right.
It's not the same. They can try all they want, but the fact remains that man retired undefeated,
Right.
and he retired undefeated while beating you. So
Yeah.
nothing you could do really can surpass him, other than probably if you go all the way to heavyweight.
Boy, gosh almighty. That's crazy. That's a crazy thought. I doubt it though. He's just too small. He too damn little.
Yeah,
He too damn
short.
little.
He taller, but-
My guy Red Hawk in the chat, he say my guy Tim Zoo versus Brian Mendoza gonna be in. Man, listen, man, I am amped for that fight. Hey, put that fight date in the chat too, cause I think it's coming up in October if I ain't mistaken, October or November, one of them. That Tim Zoo and Brian Mendoza. And listen, Brian Mendoza is riding high off of that crazy knockout of Sebastian Fundora. I don't know if you saw that one, Mike, man, but that was a crazy knockout. Nobody saw Brian Mendoza coming. And I think that's going to be a great fight with him and Tim Zoo. If Tim Zoo continues on the path that he's been doing and he finishes Mendoza in a crazy fashion, I'm definitely going to be riding high on Zoo.
So if they fighting in America or they fighting in Australia?
I don't know. I know Mendoza is fighting out of the U.S., so I don't know. I think Tim Zoo's last two fights versus Tony Harrison and Ocampo was both in Australia. I think Brian Mendoza, probably makes more money in Australia, so it could very well be there.
I don't think he ever fought in America yet.
Tim Zoo? I want to say man. I don't. Yeah, I want to say he has. I don't think he's garnered this much attention without fighting in the States at all. Yeah, because just like Kambosos, it took him his entire career to get back to fight at home. Versus, because a lot of those fighters, man, if they want to really build a name, they got to come to the States early. You know what I mean? Unless you just a big draw over there like that.
Right.
Yeah. But I think so. What else we had, Mike? So we established that we feel like Canelo potentially could pass Floyd Mayweather and break that record. I think if he hangs around long enough, I think he could. I think this fight with Jermell Charlo is going to answer all the questions for us. Depending on how he handles Jermell Charlo moving forward, according to Canelo Alvarez, he feels like he's 100%. His hand is good. The training camp's been good. He says he's 100% ready to go, and everybody's going to see a different Canelo Alvarez in this fight. This is his words, almost verbatim. And if that is in fact true, and he gets in there and he completely washes Jermell Charlo, then I think he has a real shot at finishing up his career strong and maybe surpassing that Floyd Mayweather record. But if he doesn't, right, and he looks like what most of us are speculating that he is, which is a Canelo Alvarez that's on a decline, and he manages to look bad and lose this fight, then I think we will have a different opinion. What do you think, Mike?
I think for us, we would have a different opinion. But to the let me say this. The casual boxing fans probably actually expect it to be a close fight. But for us boxing fanatics, we kind of already feel like Canelo probably going to win.
Right.
So it's like, it wouldn't be a surprise. It wouldn't be a surprise to us. Like, to the outsiders that don't really follow boxing like that, it might be a surprise to them.
Right.
But to us, it's kind of like we expect him to wash Charlo, but we hoping it's a good fight. For
sure. And I'm not just only hoping that it's a good fight. I'm hoping Charlo wins, even though I'm picking Canelo. Canelo is huge. He's got a whole country behind him. Then you got to think about all of the Mexican Americans that rock with Canelo. So I got to do my duty and rock out and support and pull for Charlo, even though I think he loses. You know what I'm saying? But I'm gonna keep it all the way a buck.
Like I'm in Houston, so I gotta go for Charlo, and I'm gonna go to the sports bar where all the Mexicans at and order me some jalapenos and a Dos Equis, and just sit there with a sombrero on. Nah, I'm just playing.
My man say he going to the sports bar with all the Mexicans and start some.
Trying to get stabbed.
Yeah. I'm about to say them niggas will cut you.
They don't play behind Canelo.
For sure. Shout out my guy Red Hawk. Red Hawk in the chat, he said it'll be in Australia. Okay, so that fight will be taking place in Australia. It makes sense. Tim Tszú's a huge draw over there. Of course, you know he's the son of a legend. He's coming off crazy knockouts. That Ocampo knockout was crazy. And it probably makes more sense for Brian Mendoza to have it over there as well. Probably just a bigger payday to go into Tim Tszú's backyard. Switching up a little bit, man. I wanted to touch on this Regis Prograis and Devin Haney fight. You know, I'm definitely interested in what you got to say about this fight and who you like in this fight. First, let me go ahead and play this clip for you. Hold up real quick. Yolanda Dixon in the chat. Oh, in the super chat or the super sticker. I appreciate you. Oh, I got this dope drop queued up just for somebody like you, Yolanda Dixon. I want to say thank you very much, man, for coming and checking out the channel and hitting your boy with a super sticker. Check this drop out for your boy.
Money, 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 just enough for the city.
For the city. I appreciate you, Yolanda Dixon. I gotta. Oh, let me cue this up for you. I want you to check this out real quick, Mike, and tell me your boy Regis, man. Tell me something about your boy Regis.
That's it. I'm training for straight total domination. It sounds bad, but I want to hurt Devin. That's it. I want to hurt him. That's all. I want to dominate. I want to dominate him. I want to hurt him. You know, it been a lot of talk and stuff like that. Especially I saw his daddy said something about the doctors and stuff like that after the fight. I'm like, all right, that's cool. He said, somebody sent some shit to me. He said that, because when I put the video out, I was talking, and he said that with you think it's a game and stuff. You know, they say all that but then it's a fight. At the end of the fight, you know, you got to look at doctors and all that. So, you know, with that on my mind, I really feel like I'm gonna hurt him. And I mean, his son gonna be seeing the doctor, and I'm serious, bro. I'm dead serious on this. I feel like I'm gonna hurt Devin. Like I'm gonna hurt him. That's it.
Gosh, yo, Matty, man. Hey, Regis really want to hurt Devin Haney, man. Who you like, Mike? Hold that thought real quick, Mike. My guy Martin King hit the super sticker for your boy. I appreciate that love, man. I gotta hit you with the money drop. Let's get it.
Money, 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 money.
Hold on, I gotta make this face when the money drop come.
Money, 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 money. Just enough for the city
I'm living. Appreciate you, Martin King, my guy. Me and Martin King, we go way back, man. And shout out Rebel Life Boxing, man. I bumped into Martin King over there, man. Much love to the King. Check out his channel for sure. Regis Prograis, Devin Haney, Mike. Who you got?
I'm gonna go with Haney.
Okay.
I ain't really been impressed with Prograis his last couple of fights. I ain't really been impressed. That last one stunk up the joint.
Hey, I feel you. God knows I feel you. How you see this fight playing out?
I think Haney go give him a boxing lesson.
Okay.
Really, Haney ain't really been knocking nobody out the more he go up in weight. But he been punishing them. He just ain't, you know, so I feel like it'll be a 12 round decision. Easy decision, actually.
Okay, so you don't even see Prograis winning many rounds in this fight at all.
Nah, especially after that last fight. Maybe it was because it was in New Orleans, his hometown. Maybe, he ain't look that impressive because of that, all the distractions. But
Okay.
I ain't big on him like that.
Let me break something down to you real quick. First, we got Red Hawk in the chat, man. Sent a super sticker. I gotta hit him with the money drop. I appreciate you, Red Hawk. Let's give it to him.
Money, 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 money. Just enough for the city.
I'm living. All right, Red Hawk, my guy. I appreciate that love, man. Super sticker for your boy. I appreciate you, Red Hawk, for sure. Now listen, Mike. When it comes to that Regis Prograis, Devin Haney fight, right? Now, here's what I don't think a lot of people are paying attention to, and I understand what you're saying because he did look bad in that Zareel fight, right? It was horrible.
Right.
But why did that fight look so bad? That fight looked bad because Regis Prograis got power and Zareel had power, and they both had a ton of respect for one another, right? That's why that fight, both of them was gunshot a whole fight. I don't know if you paid that any mind, but go back and watch that fight. They both was gunshot. Nobody wanted to throw. And that fight ended up looking bad for both, not just Prograis, but Danielito Zareel looked bad as well. And Prograis got out of there by the skin of his teeth. I wouldn't even have been mad if they would have gave Zareel the nod to win that fight. Styles make fights. And when you put somebody in there that Regis Prograis don't respect, once he feel a couple of those bee stings from Regis Prograis and he say, listen, this guy can't do nothing to me, that changes things, right? You don't believe that Regis Prograis could lure him into a dog fight? Now, keep in mind, and not a dog fight for the entire fight, but mostly, for a majority of the fight. But keep in mind this, and I want you to keep this in mind, Mike. You got Devin Haney, who's a businessman and understands this is his second attempt at pay-per-view. He didn't do great numbers versus a Vasyl Lomachenko. That fight reportedly done somewhere between 150 to 190,000 pay-per-view buys. In the boxing world, that's a tank almost. I mean, not completely flatline horrible numbers, but definitely not great numbers. He wants to continue to win over boxing fans. He's getting the eye on him now. How do you win over the casual fans? You have to be like Tank and the rest of them. You got to get knockouts. You got to hurt guys. You got to give punishing performances. He has to be willing to mix it up more in the pocket if he wants to continue to elevate his stock, right? If he wants to see that star continue to rise, he has to give the fans what they want to see when he is featured on pay-per-view. Now, I don't know if you know this, but this is going to be a pay-per-view event. Devin Haney.
When the last time has he had that dog in him to where he really hurt somebody and knocked them out? The more he move up in weight, the less power it shows.
Right, but and he was at 135 for a long time. His last knockout was at 35, but I think that was before he even started doing 10 rounders. Like the 15 knockouts that Devin Haney got is against all bums. As soon as he stepped up into competition and started fighting, I want to say 10 rounders, he hasn't had a knockout. I don't think he's had a knockout since like 2018. And that might have been in a 8-round fight. If I'm wrong, you guys let me know in the chat for sure. But I want to say it's 2018, and that was an 8-round fight. The last guy he knocked out. So with that in mind, knowing that if he wants to continue to build his name and take his star into the atmosphere and try to get to a Tank Davis level, he has to be willing to mix it up with these guys on pay-per-view. And he's been doing that. If you look at his performance against Lomachenko and Kambosos and a Linares and a Jojo Diaz, it's a lot different from when he fought those other guys. He tried to stand in the pocket with these guys. That's why Linares caught him.
I think he lost to Lomachenko, by the way. But hey, I ain't no judge.
Wow. I don't know if you accounted for that body work, but I ain't mad at you neither.
He
Yeah.
did his thing. He did his thing.
Yeah, I wouldn't have been mad at that. Either way, I wouldn't have been mad at it. I think that fight deserves a rematch for sure. But if you say Lomachenko won, I ain't mad at you. If you say Haney won, I ain't mad at you. I think a lot of people got confused because they didn't account for the body work of Devin Haney, which really made that fight close to me. So given now that you know what he's fighting for, and he'll probably be more willing to make this Regis Prograis style of boxing where he's just not going to be boring on his bike for 12 rounds, do you see it playing out differently?
I still think it's gonna be a boxing match, honestly. Because he, like we say, he don't really carry his power. So I don't think he gonna put himself in that situation to be in a dog fight like that.
Pay-per-view or not, you don't think he care about pleasing the fans?
Nah.
Because now listen, I think this no, that's the Canelo fight. The Canelo fight gonna be $85, but people are gonna have to pay to see Devin Haney fight somebody whose knock all of these years for the most part is the fact that he's a boring fighter, right?
Right.
You don't think he's gonna implement anything to try and change that and win over some casual fans in this fight? You think he's just gonna stay on his bike, stay on the ice outside, and coast to a victory?
I mean, it depends. It depends on if he feel that power at 140. If he feel Prograis power and don't want to chance it, if he feel like he can take the power pretty well, he might try to push the issue, but he's proven that he don't push the issue.
Okay. I can dig it. He's
a safe boxer. Ain't nothing wrong with that. He's a safe boxer, taking the
If he can do that and get away with it, I get it. I like to give Devin Haney credit, especially in his last few fights against a Alvarez, against a Cambosis, against a Lomachenko. It was a lot of the times he stood right in front of those guys, right in the pocket, and traded. I don't take nothing away from Devin Haney because it's not like he's not trying to knock these guys out. It's just that he can't, right? So, oh man, my guy Keywan in the chat. I know I'm probably late. I just saw you, Keywan. Long time supporter of the channel. I appreciate you, my guy. Gotta hit you with the money drop. $2 in the super sticker, the super chat. My guy.
Money, 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 money. Just enough for the city
I'm living. Gosh almighty. My guy. Man, listen. I like that fight. I like
who on the undercard for the Haney Prograis. Do we know who's on
for the Haney Prograis? No, I don't. I do know that Mario Barrios and Udenis Ugas is on the Canelo Charlo undercard. I'm looking forward to that fight, but I'm not sure who is on the Devin Haney and Regis Prograis undercard. It's gonna be with the Zone, so I'm guessing it's probably gonna be some Matchroom fighters, some the Zone fighters. And now that everybody with the PBC, I don't know who the hell they gonna.
Right.
I don't know who the hell they gonna put on they undercard.
Do you think Ugas got anything left after that beating he took from Earl?
Say that again.
You think Ugas got anything left after that beating he took from Earl?
Does Udenis Ugas have anything? Man, that was a hell of a beating. It was reported that he broke his ribs, his nose, and his orbital bone, bro. That's a hell of a beating. Obviously, it was a beating. He hasn't been back in the ring since. But I would like to think that Udenis Ugas has enough left to whoop Mario Barrios, somebody whom we seen lose 2 out of his last 3 fights, I believe. Of course, getting knocked out by Tank Davis and then taking punishment from Keith Thurman. Keith Thurman rearranged that boy's face, had him looking like an avatar out there.
Right.
So they both took pretty bad beatings over the last 24 months. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But I like to think Dennis Ugas has enough left to beat up somebody who just got the 47 in a Mario Barrios. Yeah, I like Ugas in that fight. What about you? You think Mario Barrios can pull it off? Use the youth?
Nah, I don't see it.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't see Barrios doing much of that.
Yeah, man. It's I like Mario Barrios' game though. Like, you know, he's a game fighter. I thought he did well against Tank Davis. I thought he boxed well in spots versus Keith Thurman. I think Ugas though is probably just too big because he's used to being the bigger guy. So when he get in there with a Dennis Ugas, that's gonna be different, and that power from Ugas gonna be different. And Ugas can box, man. You know what I'm saying? But I think those those shots is gonna be a little different. And can Mario Barrios adjust and outbox Ugas? I just don't think so. Shout out Letitia in the comments in the chat. She say they basically charging $60 for the Haney fight. That makes sense. Yeah, you can't get crazy with the Haney fight, man. No, it's Devin Haney at the end of the day. And I do think they're gonna probably lose a little bit of money on this, putting this one on pay-per-view. I do. From a business standpoint, like I was saying yesterday, I think you got Regis Prograis. This is gonna be his first pay-per-view outing. Not a big draw. Devin Haney, he only does 150 to 190 in those pay-per-views because of a Lomachenko name attached to that. Now you got relatively two guys that are not draws, and a Regis Prograis and a Devin Haney. I would be surprised if he can match the numbers from the Lomachenko fight. Hopefully they turn the profit in that fight. But if the profit taps out at 200, then I think they fail again on this one. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You think this fight sells, and you think it was smart for them to put this fight on pay-per-view?
I don't think it sells.
Yeah, I don't think so neither, man. I think those numbers probably gonna be a little, you know what I mean, little low. My guy Tyree Celestine is in the building. Hold on real quick, Mikey. I got my guy Tyree Celestine in the building, a longtime fan of the channel, dropping that $5 on me, man. I appreciate that love in the super chat. That guy, he got 5 on it. Let's hit him with that money drop.
Money, 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 money. Just enough for the city.
I'm living. My God. Mikey, that shit tickle you.
Every time I hear it.
Yeah, man. My guy Tyree Celestine in the building, man. I appreciate you, boss. He was actually on the show yesterday, man. I appreciate your time and everything, my guy Tyree. Real quick, Mikey, and then we're gonna have to wrap this thing up. I gotta get in here to my wife, man, and I'm trying to get me some tonight, y'all. On the real, my baby done went back to work, man. I let her take a whole year and a half off of work to finish up her master's degree. So she just went back to work about a month ago. So she been coming in tired, and I'm like, you can't be too tired to give me that box. You know what I mean? I hate to take the conversation that way, but this for the fellas, this shit is real.
Hey, push come to shove, just get on Twitter. It's like a whole Pornhub on that thing.
Oh, for real? Okay. I might have to. My baby been tired. You know what I mean? You can't be too tired to get this stroke though. Real quick, the Shakur Stevenson De Los Santos fight, and what did you make of the Shakur Stevenson Frank Martin situation?
The way they presented it like Frank Martin ducked, but then Frank Martin finally came out and spoke on it. He said they agreed to the fight, but when the contract came out, they wanted him to take unnecessary, not even hardly more than what he normally makes.
Yeah.
And it was like, for a fight this big, give me a little something, like they agreed to the fight, but not the purse. But
Right.
Shakur becoming a public enemy, so people about to start wanting to see him lose. I think that's a good thing for him, because they want a villain. They need a villain.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
if he, by him fighting, what's his name, De Santos,
De Los Santos.
you know,
Yeah.
he can take the Mayweather approach right now. Fight the Mexicans and all them type people, hoping he lose, because now he creating enemies. He doing all that with Haney. Now Frank Martin. He talking about Lomachenko. He talking about Cruz. He just calling everybody out like he the boogeyman.
Yeah. I like it.
He becoming a villain. He becoming a villain. So he might his fight might do more numbers than Haney.
Right.
That's off the fact people want to see him lose.
That's a hell of a marketing strategy, bro. I always say in boxing, it's 50% boxing, the other 50% is selling yourself. And if you got to sell yourself as a villain, so be it. It definitely makes it interesting. And not only that, he's attached to Bud Crawford, man. So you got a whole wave of Earl Spence lovers who gonna hate him anyway. Right. So for sure, man, the way that unfolded, and I kind of believe Shakur Stevenson when it comes to Frank Martin, man, because at the end of the day, Man Down Promotions, Earl Spence, he got you this fight. And this is the same guy in a soundbite who criticized Shakur Stevenson for turning down the Devin Haney undisputed fight, right? He said verbatim, I can't say it verbatim, but basically said, give me the opportunity to fight, right? And that's exactly what Shakur Stevenson did. He gave Frank Martin the opportunity to fight, and he did exactly what Shakur Stevenson did. Now, I knocked both of them for turning down fights. First of all, Shakur Stevenson, not in 100 million years, supposed to have turned down a fight with Devin Haney for undisputed. It's undisputed. If you can't get the money, you at least do it for the legacy at the end of the day. And for Frank Martin, you haven't even been a world champion. You finally get a shot at a vacant title in the WBC versus somebody like a Shakur Stevenson. That fight can completely change the trajectory of your career. Plus, you old as hell. I think Frank Martin about to turn 29, if I'm not mistaken. If he's not already 29 years old, you have to take advantage of every opportunity that comes your way. And that's why I hate when people hate on Devin Haney. Even though I'm not picking him to beat Regis Prograis or a Shakur Stevenson, I give him his flowers, I give him his props, because he took advantage of every opportunity that came his way. He not only offered Shakur Stevenson, the so-called boogeyman of 135, a fight, he would have been willing to stand on that. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day. But for Frank Martin and Shakur Stevenson, I call them both ducks, man, because both of them turned down fights. You can't be mad at Frank Martin for doing exactly what you did at the end of the day. But I am kind of glad that he is getting the De Los Santos fight. De Los Santos has a lot of power. I believe he's 16-1. Crazy knockout power. We saw what he did against Rayo. I think that fight really propels De Los Santos. And then he's just kept Shakur Stevenson's name in his mouth. Pause. Pause.
Definitely pause.
Yeah.
Definitely.
He kept no homo. He kept Shakur Stevenson's name in his mouth. You know what I'm saying? And I think that was admirable, because you got the only person in boxing who's calling out the boogeyman, right? So I'm definitely excited for this fight, man. Now, as far as Frank Martin, if his next opponent ain't Tank Davis or another real big name, he definitely did himself a disservice. He could have fucked himself over real good. You know what I mean? And I want to touch on Tank real quick before I let you go, Mike, and let me get to this chat real quick. My guy Martin King say, I'm gonna get me a couple dollars betting on somebody this weekend for sure. Bovada. Word. He say, appreciate the live box, my guy. Tyree say, nah, man, it's real. Gotta get the box for sure. Hey, bro, I gotta get the box. Martin King said, Mel gotta show us what he in the weigh-in. Word. Said, Shakur, my guy, I can't say anything significantly bad about him, but how you chasing behind being short-minded of what the high risk, low reward could catapult him to. Absolutely. That's my whole thing. J. Cool in the building. I appreciate you stopping by, guy. My guy J. Cool said he made an offer. That's not a contract. Shakur activated his mandatory and Devin quickly moved up to 140. Offer isn't a contract, but an offer is something that potentially turns into a contract. I remember seeing Leonard Ellaby and Eddie Hearn speak on these offers, these so-called offers. Most of the time, they send over these offers if they agreed to. A lot of the same language that's in those offers are just turned into a contract. So most of the time when these guys receive an offer, they're basically looking at their contract. Now, the lawyers are actually get involved after it's agreed upon and change some of the language in those offers / contracts, but it's basically the same thing. Damn near. J. Cool said, a lot of these narratives about Shakur being a duck are constructed by YouTubers that have a close relationship with Devin. Listen, I don't know Devin or Bill. Them niggas don't know me. I doubt they know I exist. You know what I'm saying? I'm just keeping it funky. Listen, you get offer undisputed, my nigga, you take it. Mikey, if you get offer undisputed, you taking it?
Hey, the way my bank account set up, I'll fight Glass Joe right now. Mike Tyson punch out.
You take Glass Joe. That nigga Glass Joe come down like this and shit. It's undisputed, bro. I don't give a fuck what it is, bro. Offer, contract, I don't care. I agree, I accept. Where do I sign? It's for legacy at the end of the day. Real quick, Mikey. Tank.
Yeah.
Who would you like to see him fight next?
Honestly, I want him to fight Haney or Shakur.
Right.
But what I'm noticing is like he kind of on the Floyd Mayweather blueprint of fighting these Mexicans that want to see him lose.
Word.
That seems like that seems like where the most money comes in at.
Yeah.
For these guys.
Yeah.
Like, I
agree.
Like Earl and Bud was an anomaly, basically. That rarely happen nowadays.
Right.
It's always the best, one of the best fight, the Hispanic or white guy, the great white hype or whatever the case may be, something like that. These guys not fighting for legacy no more. They chasing the bag.
Word.
Whoever will pay them the most, that's who they want to fight.
And that's why I be squinting at Tank, because Tank then came out his own mouth, and I said this yesterday, and I only regurgitate. I only play back stuff that come out of these fighters' mouths for the most part. This is what Tank said is out his own mouth. He says, it's not about the money anymore. This is what Tank said, and I keep forgetting to cue up these drops, man. He also says, this is back when he was talking about retirement. He says, I ain't trying to be in this thing too much longer. After I get those guys out of there, I'm gone. And we automatically assume he's talking about Shakur and Devin Haney at the time. So for me, for Tank Davis, I feel like he should be pushing a little harder for these guys. I don't think it's necessarily that these guys should be calling Tank Davis out, but you done told us out your own mouth now it's no longer about the money. And that you want to retire. You was comfortable enough in that interview to tell us that you felt like you was ready to retire, or you was close to retirement, and that you wanted to get those guys out of there. So as a fan, as a Tank Davis fan, somebody who feels like Tank can beat these guys for sure. Now, can these guys have a great performance and beat Tank? I think so. You know, I really believe that these are 50-50 fights at the end of the day. But for Tank Davis, you're the A side. Like Shakur said recently in an interview, can't nobody make Tank Davis an offer. What does Shakur Stevenson look like making Tank Davis an offer? What does Devin Haney look like making, even that Undisputed, look like making Tank Davis an offer? Tank's got to make the offers. And if you in that position to make the offers, you fight who you want to fight. He could have made a phone call from jail to send an offer to Devin Haney if that's who he wanted to fight. That's just how I feel.
You know who we leaving out the mix? who Tank probably will fight before any of them. He probably will fight Teofimo before he fight either Shakur or Devin.
Yeah, that's a Latino fan base. Right.
He probably will fight he probably will fight him before he fight either of them.
Absolutely, man. He could very well. Listen, Coach Calvin said that Tank's next fight is gonna be big. You know what I mean? He said it's gonna shake up the boxing community. So I don't know what he meant by that. I think the rumor about him fighting Keith Thurman kind of came out of left field. That kind of made sense to me, but people are debunking that whole situation. What fight would you think for Tank Davis would completely shock everybody?
If he was to fight Bud.
If he was to fight Bud. I heard something in your background. You got something going on in your background?
Nah, that wasn't.
Oh,
that
I'm
was
tripping.
the
Maybe
dog
that.
came in the room.
Oh, okay.
But
You said if he was to fight Bud?
yeah, I don't see anybody bigger
Okay.
on his level.
Word, that's I agree. I would say that now. A lot of people
That'd
don't.
be the biggest fight.
Go ahead.
I said that'd be the biggest fight that'll shock the world, honestly.
Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly, 100%. A lot of people don't think that fight is doable, especially if Tank had to come up to 147. But if he really wanted to shock the world, I agree with you. I think that would be the fight to make, especially with the buzz and the clout that Terrence Crawford got around his name right now. It's definitely overdue, but it's astronomical now. Did you know that he actually passed Earl Spence Jr. in social media following?
Nah, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So Bud Crawford went from like 900,000 followers to 1.4. Left him in the smoke. Like, he's out of here. He's out the atmosphere right now. It's crazy. But I definitely agree with you on that one, man. All right, man. That's all we got for today, man. I appreciate everybody in the chat. My guy Mike Town came through. I gotta let him have it, y'all. My guy Mike Town came through, man, and rocked with me. Like I told you guys, man, me and Mike go way back to, I think we met in what, like elementary school, bro? Elementary school.
Day Street.
And we played yeah. And we actually played basketball together, but I was a scrub. I was on the B squad. Mike was on the A for Oakmount. You remember that?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, good old days, man. Rec basketball. Appreciate you coming through, man. We definitely got to do this again, all right?
For sure, bro. For sure.
All right, man. Everybody out there in the chat, man, I appreciate y'all watching your boy. I'm about to go ahead and try and catch my old lady. You know who I got with me too, right? I got my guy with me. He don't like half you niggas. I don't like the other half of you niggas. But he got something he want to tell you. Talk to him, Roger.
Most motherfuckers don't know shit about boxing.